Payasos y Pendejadas Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Back at you again with some boxing news. Got some things to talk about this week. Mark, my partner over here, the Commissioner Salinas. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. We got some big news, man. We got a lot of news to talk about, man.
First, let's go on to the Canelo news. Turns out there's a switcheroo, man. The first opponent that everybody thought Canelo was going to fight was Jermell Charlo, but it turns out it's not Jermell. It's going to be Jermell Charlo. Mark, I've been hearing a buzz all online about this. A lot of folks are not happy, man. Apparently, Jermell let everybody know there was no way that he was going to be ready for the fight by September. And of course, the small Charlo, as people call him, the little Charlo, jumped in at the last minute and threw his hat into the ring and said, "Hey, I'm ready to get down." I saw one of his IG lives where he mentions this.
Undisputed versus Undisputed. For real, let me show y'all what it is. Why y'all don't make Canelo versus Charlo? Somebody put that shit together. Little Charlo will fight anybody. Nigga, I ain't never done no smoke, nigga. Undisputed versus Undisputed. That could be a big thing in boxing. That bitch can't beat me with that shit. His last performance, that bitch can't beat me.
Well, I gotta say, man, this fight to me sounds better than the Jermell fight.
Yeah, out of the both Charlos, I think this is a better fight. Out of the both Charlos, I think this is a more dangerous fight for Canelo between the both Charlos. But yeah, something's not right with his brother Jermell, the 160, the original opponent. Whether it be mental issues, health issues, drug issues, financial issues, whatever it is, he wasn't going to be ready. So this is definitely the better fight. Chingan Charlo's really dangerous. He's good. He's undisputed at 154. In my eyes, in my opinion, I think he's one of the best 154s ever. He's undisputed. Not a lot of people have been undisputed at 154.
He's also been performing a lot better than Jermell has in his last few fights. Like, a lot of people think Jermell is the better fighter because he has, a higher knockout ratio. But ever since Jermell switched to Derrick James, out of his last 11 fights, 9 of them have ended by KO.
Yeah.
So he's on a crazy run with Derrick James right now. He's not the same fighter that he started off being prior when he was with Ronnie Shields. No disrespect, Ronnie Shields is a great trainer, but ever since Jermell switched to James, 9 out of his last 11 fights ended by KO, and that's including the one loss to Tony Harrison, which he avenged by KO, and the draw he had with Brian Castaño, and he avenged that one by KO as well. So Jermell's been on a hell of a run with Derrick James. They're billing this as undisputed versus undisputed. Canelo, of course, being the 168-pound undisputed champ, Jermell being the 154 undisputed champ. I guess critics of this fight want to point out to Jermell being just 2 divisions below Canelo. Yeah, that's a big jump to make. It's not unprecedented in boxing. You've had Sugar Ray Leonard do it when he was at 147, moved up to fight Hagler. Bernard Hopkins also did this. He fought at 160 against Jermaine Taylor, lost that fight, moved up to 175, fought against Tarver, and Hopkins beats Tarver in that fight. It's happened in boxing before. Is this my first choice for Canelo's next opponent? No, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't asking for this. I never asked for a Charlo fight. If Canelo was going to fight a Charlo, this is the Charlo that I would prefer. Sure, he's been inactive for a year as well because he's been out with a broken hand injury. No matter the case, this guy is the Charlo who's, I would say, even on a better performance streak than Jermell was.
Yeah, well, he is definitely I think the tougher Charlo, you're right. He's a boxer puncher. You know, a really, really good boxer puncher who can come forward as well. You know, he's a big kid. He's like 5'11", and you know, me and you were talking earlier. You were saying, shit, if those kids were the NFL, if those kids were in the NFL, they'd be NFL safeties, man. They're as big as NFL safeties. Jermell Charlo believes that he can beat everybody at 154, 160, and 168. He truly believes it. I believe he could give Benavidez a good fight. But Jermell Charlo, in his mind, thinks he can beat a big-ass Benavidez like that at 168. He believes he can beat everybody. He believes he can beat Canelo. And I believe he could beat Canelo.
So you think Charlo's got a good shot at winning this fight against Canelo?
Yes, man. Yes, he's a seasoned vet, proven fighter, proven legend at 154, who can go all the way up and down, and he's gonna have no problem. He doesn't have to be at 168. He can go 160. He can go in there at 160 if he wants. But he could fight comfortably at wherever he wants. Whatever Canelo tries to do with his funny stuff with the weights and stuff like that, this guy's not going to have any problem because he's at 154 anyway. So he's going to go in there hydrated, ready, strong, bigger. And when they get in there and they fight, these guys look bigger than their opponents all the time. They look like light heavyweights, just cut up big dudes. They look like little Holyfields in there.
Just saying, like I'm hearing people say, "Oh, Canelo's picking on the little Charlo." Man, they're identical twins. They're practically the same size, and I agree with your point. I think he's going to carry the weight well at 168. He's not going to look overblown. He's going to fit in well. And I've met the Charlos in real life, man. I've stood next to them. They are big dudes. Like, I don't know how the hell they make 154 pounds or 160 pounds. I don't know how they make that weight, but they do because they've made it consistently. I think, you know, they were bound for 168, 175 at some point anyway. They'll carry the weight very well, specifically in this case, Jermell will. And I still got Canelo winning this. I think Jermell definitely has a shot to win. I know you're a little bit more worried about it than I am. I think Canelo still wins this. And just going
I think Canelo should have picked Benavidez.
Wow. Over. So you think Benavidez was a safer bet than Jermell?
Yes, for Jermell, people are forgetting who Jermell Charlo is. Look at this dude's resume and look at how mean this guy is. This guy starts fights outside the ring.
He starts fights in an empty room.
You know, Houston being, in my eyes, you know, people here in the border, we all know that Houston is kind of like the new Ellis Island. So Houston has probably the second largest Mexican base in the nation, second to LA, right? Who's Houston gonna ride with? Charlo, who's a major star, or Canelo? Different. Houston is different. They don't care. Their people are their people. They don't care. Like, if you're from Houston, you're from Houston, whether you're Mexican, black,
Mexican or black. No, I agree.
Like,
they do that with their music artists.
Houstonians don't care what you are. You're from Houston. That's it. Race, nothing. Home
no,
team,
you're accepted.
Houston. Texas is out at Houston, but there's a lot of immigrants, and they're not native Houstonians. Mexican Americans aren't just going to choose Canelo because he's Mexican. In Houston, they're different. Hey, man, they'll probably pick their native son.
I like both fighters. If they got a decent undercard, I'm tuning into this fight because I want to see what's going to go down. I don't think this is a cherry pick. Again, I wasn't asking for this fight, but I'm intrigued. I'm very interested in what's going to happen.
The first time I'm worried for Canelo in a long time.
Lost in all this news is Tszyu. Look at my man over here, bro.
No dancing.
I saw a post by Tszyu's managers, Mark, that said they've agreed to fight Jermell in the United States. It was all but a lock. And then they did the last minute switch with Jermell fighting Canelo instead. What's up with Tszyu now, man? What does he do?
Man, I don't know. That's a tough situation to be in. He made such a splash a couple of weeks ago. Just on the horizon, looks so nice for him. He was gonna go blow Charlo out of the water in his mind to become a huge star in the U.S. That's how big Canelo is. He affects people's lives like that. What are you gonna do if you're Charlo? Keep your word and fight this dude? For a fraction of the money you're gonna make?
For a fraction of the money. Nah, you gotta make this.
It's been
I
a
don't
long
blame
time
Jermell.
coming for Charlo. It's been a long time coming for Charlo. So
If anybody deserves that, Mark, it's him, because he went and he dared to be undisputed.
yeah,
He went out and collected those belts. That should be rewarded. One more thing, Mark. Do you think, let's just look into the future a little bit. Jermell fights Canelo and loses. Does that take some of the shine off of a fight with Tszyu?
no, that doesn't take any shine off of it. If he gets wiped out, it takes shine off of it. But say he has a really good outing and loses, no, it doesn't take any shine off of
So
it.
it depends on how he loses.
Yeah, it depends on how he loses. If he wins, he will go back down there and take his belts back. Watch. Unless he gets bigger paydays with Benavides or somebody else, then he may be a little bit selfish, which I think he should be. But he may be a man of his word and go down and give this guy his shot, because that's just the type of dude he is.
Assuming he doesn't bulk up. He just decides to not cut as much weight instead of putting on weight to fight Canelo at 168. If he does that right, he can safely come back down to 154. I could see him taking on Tszyu even after beating Canelo. And then that fight would be even bigger, wouldn't it?
Yeah, pobrecito Tszyu, man. Like if your chick just broke up with you before the prom, God damn it.
Well, we'll all have to sit and wonder what happens for the Thunder down under after this change of plans.
Putazos y pendejadas.